At Farah and Farah, we represent people from all walks of life in matters involving personal injury cases. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter which neighborhood you call home, because everyone deserves justice, dignity, and respect. And remember, when it comes to compensation, you only get one shot. Make it count. Call Farah and Farah at 800-500-5555. Tampa.
Blog Talk Radio.
Your host, the mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich. We are bringing you the latest and greatest of the metal albums that are out there, and this week's selection du jour, Sabaton, Swiss power metal bands. Sabaton, they specialize in the war albums, battle metal, as I like to call it. Their latest album, The Last Stand, dropped August 19th. Of this year. We're going to talk about it tonight. And joining me in the second chair, because Coop is nowhere to be found, he's somewhere in the trenches fighting the Germans, Mr. Jesse Starcher. How do you do, sir?
Doing well, my man. When you say war, what is it good for? Well, Sabaton's going to show you. Sabaton's going to show us just exactly what war could be good for. And let me ask you here. Speaking of war, all right, let's go ahead and just get the kid talk out of the way. I want to know about first day of school. How did it go?
Well, I drove my daughter to her first day of kindergarten. Can I just let me ask you a question?
Sure.
Your kids go in district. Do they go to the school that is supposed to be your home's district school?
Yeah. It's not like we don't take them to a separate school or outside of anything. They are going to the one that they're supposed to, based on where we live.
Okay. See, because here in Florida, apparently there's no such thing as the neighborhood school anymore. Between charters, magnets, and school choice, your kid just goes to fuck all school, whatever one you can get them into, and it no longer matters where you live. As long as you can get them there, that's where they go. So my kid goes to an elementary school. Now, it's a good elementary school. It's one of the best in the county, from what I understand, from what I've been told. But she goes. We live in Valrico, which is Eastern Hillsborough County. The city proper is Tampa. We live about 20 minutes to a half an hour outside, like downtown Tampa. And she goes to, and so we are like the southeast, okay?
Gotcha.
Of the county. Not now. you can go further south. You can go another 20 minutes to a half an hour, and then you'll be at the county line. You'll be where my parents live in Apollo Beach, or Buskin, where the Mexicans live. However, if you go north of where we are, you run into a place called New Tampa, which is about 30 minutes away as the crow flies, and it's a pretty rich neighborhood. You got Tampa Palms, and you have North Tampa, and there's a lot of money in that area. It's where my in-laws live. And that's where my kid goes to school. So my wife, God bless her, who teaches in the ghetto a couple of miles west of this area, she teaches in a magnet school. And because of that, and because we utilize my in-laws as daycare, we, being my wife, thought it would be a good idea to put my daughter in the elementary school in Tampa Palms instead of the one in Valrico. And when I raised a fuss about this and said, I don't understand why she just can't go to the local school, I was told, well, we just don't do that in Florida anymore.
We don't do that.
Apparently, elementary school is much like college. It's a fight to get your kid into the best school possible.
Oh, wow.
And,
yeah.
Unless you just don't give a hoot, and then, you just go to the one that's local to your house, the one that's most convenient. And there was a degree of convenience about, connected to this whole plan. But, so my day consisted of getting up extra early to drive my school completely out of district.
Man. The things we do for our kids to try and get them a good education and an enjoyable experience.
Now, she's in kindergarten, and because she has to go early and stay late, because my wife will be normally the one taking her to school, dropping her off so she can get to school, because she's in first grade, they have something called host. Now, do your kids do this, host, where they're watched by the school in some sort of program until a parent comes and gets them?
My kids do not. I don't know if that's something that they offer or not up here, but I know there are some type of after-school programs, but as for what they are, I have no idea.
Okay, well, my kid goes to host, and I don't know if you know about this or not, but the first day of school they have what's called the Boo-Hoo Breakfast. Do you know what Boo-Hoo Breakfast is, Jesse Starkster?
Is this like, hey, boo-boo?
No, this is not concerning the picnic baskets.
Okay, damn.
the boo-hoo, not the boo-boo, breakfast, the boo-hoo breakfast, as in crying, is
okay.
You are so connected to your children, and it's the first day of school, and you are going through a sort of an empty nest issue. Oh, my baby has gone. Fuck all that, okay?
Oh my goodness.
This is a breakfast for the parents that I was forced to go to because, my wife couldn't be there. But I was forced to go to this thing as if to say, I'm so sad that my child is leaving me to go on to better things at school. And that's how I was really feeling, which was there was a mark-sized hole in the fucking wall as I ran to freedom.
Exactly.
What's the NWA album, 300 Miles, is still running?
Just out there to enjoy that nice, as soon as you drop them off, you're like, oh my gosh, the peace and quiet I'm about to enjoy. It's and for the next 9 months.
The day Jonas goes to VPK, which is pre-K, for those of you who don't live in Florida, it stands for voluntary pre-kindergarten, pre-K. The day that 2 years from now, when he starts pre-K, I am not going to drop him off. He's going tight spiral out of the back seat of the car into the fucking classroom while I drive down throwing my pants out the window.
That's what I was going to say. The pants will be off immediately. Oh, dude, it's going to be different. We still have a 2-year-old here, so as soon as school hits for him, it is going to be so strange. Things are going to change around here. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be like, but it's the Boohoo breakfast. I had no idea that was such a thing.
Yeah.
And as for voluntary pre-K, what the hell would be like involuntary pre-K? Is there such a thing? Like, okay, you're fucking gone. I don't care.
You don't have to send your kid to pre-K. I mean, legally, I think you're only obliged to send your kid to kindergarten.
Oh, okay, gotcha. No, I think you're right. You're right.
Yeah, we started Lily in pre-K I think as soon as she turned 4, but she turned 4 in like January of that particular year. So she did like a half a year with my wife, and then she started up the following school year at the whole full school year at this other school before she was 5 and was ready for kindergarten. Jonas is only going for 1 year. He's not going to have the opportunity because 4 months into the year, there's no point in setting him up to go to school for 2 months. So to answer your question, it was fine.
It went all right. The kid did okay. She did okay. She wasn't attached to the hip or anything.
Jesse Starcher, let me tell you a fact about my child.
Please.
She did cry. But she didn't cry when I dropped her off. No, sir. She cried when my wife went to pick her up because she picked her up too soon. And she did not get the computer.
Yeah, and then you feel like a shitheel for like feeling bad because you took him to school. That was kind of like the way that I was. Like, oh man, I'm sorry, kid. And then they're like, what the fuck are you doing here so early? Why are these people? Yeah, exactly.
Put on this big mustache. I don't want anyone to see you.
Jeez. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started.
You got a tweener there who I'm sure is. Has she started in with the? Can you stop like a few blocks away so I don't have to be with you stuff yet?
Now see, we make her ride the bus, but I did get. This is first day of fucking 6th grade, my friend. 6th grade. Okay, and she comes home and she tells her mom, "Do not write any more notes and put them in my lunchbox." Like, okay. So much for trying to be the nice, loving parent and telling you, hey, have a great day. She's like, don't do that shit anymore.
And leave the damn crust on the sandwich, for fuck's sake.
I'm an adult now, damn it. Oh, man. But yeah.
I'd like a shot of whiskey in my lunch. Thank you very much.
Shit's already hitting the fan. It's 6th grade, first day. So, but yeah, it went smoothly. It'll be... Caleb, though, man, I don't know about that boy. He gets up and he has anxiety. I mean, just like all my stomach hurts. And he tells his mom this morning, I have got the shivers. I cannot go to school today. And I'm like, your ass is going to school, son. You might as well put on a coat or something.
I'm not about to tell you how to raise your child, but I'm in my head going, get the fuck up and get out of this house.
Yeah, no shit. It's 1st grade, damn it. But yeah, after he came home, he's fine. I'm sure we'll run into the same thing tomorrow. It took him kindergarten took him like probably a good 2 months before he was finally willing to get up out of the bed and actually be excited about going to school. So hopefully we won't have that again. It'll be a little bit shorter.
Lily likes school.
That's good.
Lily likes school. She's having a good time. She loves to go to host. If she really puts her mind to it, I think we're gonna have an easy time with her, with school, because she really likes to be there. I mean, when she's home, she has to deal with me, and I'm a jackass. So, I do want to bring it on a third chair, but I want to share this one story since you brought this up. I'll tell you what kind of a psycho parent. I want to tell you what kind of a psycho parent I am. So I'm watching SummerSlam, and Brock Lesnar does an interview promoting his match with Randy Orton, and they're talking about like their experiences in the ring and everything. And Brock Lesnar goes, "I've been doing this since I'm 5 years old." I immediately stopped watching SummerSlam, jumped on the computer, and started looking for wrestling programs that I can sign my son into.
Oh my gosh.
He's fucking 2, this poor child. Psycho dad. I can't get him into football and wrestling fast enough.
Wow. Well, that'll be an interesting saga. Let us know here in about 3 years just where you're sitting and where Jonas is at, because I got him on the weight bench. He's pushing 100 right now.
He gets a steady diet of HGH. It's all right. Speaking of steroids, We our third chair, and the whole reason why I picked Sabaton over everything else I could have picked this week, because I know this is one of the bands that he really, really likes, and why not? They're an outstanding band. Let's get into talking about it with the Metal Coop, Robert Cooper. How do you do, sir?
It is so good to finally be back on the White Dad Issues Hammer of Doom podcast.
Oh, man.
Sorry I'm a little...
This wasn't my fault. You started it.
I did start it. I will accept responsibility.
Did you hear that? That was the honky bus running you over there, champ.
Honk, honk.
God, yes, honk, honk, indeed. What has it been, like 2 weeks?
No, we did a show last week, sir. Your monkey ass wasn't on it, though.
I'm talking about since I've been on. Dude, it feels like forever. Full late because I decided to take my night off, and my stepdad was off, so we went and saw Sausage Party.
Oh, well. How did that go? Did that go over well?
He thought it was okay. He wasn't a huge fan of the humor, but he'll go see pretty much anything. But he was like, yeah, it was okay. I was like, it was better than you thought. He's like, that's true. He doesn't like animated features.
Oh, man.
He thinks they're kid stuff. I mean, I really like it. Have y'all seen it?
I have not. My mom has. I think I shared that with you guys. My mom has went and saw that movie. What the fuck?
Yeah, it was good. It was funny. Wasn't very long, but hey, it was worth like $5.
Well,
yeah,
if you listen to our summer wrap-up podcast, you'll know that Robert Winfrey and I did not see Sausage Party. We saw Pete's Dragon.
You know, that movie looked good. That movie, I wanted to see Kubo. I wanted to see Kubo and the Two Strings. I did not get to see it yet.
Robert Winfrey loves that movie. He could not recommend it enough.
Oh, he liked it. Oh, well, I'll have to go see it then, because I know his praise is not something that is always given.
That's right.
No, it don't come cheap.
He is a man of discerning taste. Then also, in news, Mark Radulich will be happy to hear, so I couldn't get placed for a school this semester. So they said, well, you could wait till next semester. And I said, no. Like, you could either find somebody in your county. I said, no. They said, or you could switch to a interdisciplinary studies degree and be take 2 classes and be finished. I said, bingo.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, granted, every time someone asks, what's interdisciplinary studies? I'm like, well, pretty much what it reminds me of is the traditional method is take a bunch of classes from a bunch of random-ass subject areas and call it a degree. Or, as I'm using it, hey, you're balls deep in a program that you don't like and you don't really feel like you're going to do much with. So here, have a landing pad.
Have a degree.
So essentially, you're going to college to be a manager at Lowe's.
Yep. Well, I mean, I asked and I said, hey, so what can I do with this? The guy's like, well, I mean, really, with most master's programs, if you just take an entry test, if you do well enough, you're golden. I'm like, huh. All right.
It'll probably help you out in that respect because you'll have such a varied background, which will be nice. I mean,
super.
We'll see.
Listen to your old pal Radulich, okay? Because I have the answers. If you have an opportunity to go back to school and actually get a profession, for the love of Christ, don't do anything that involves people. Okay?
Become an accountant and just do nothing but numbers.
Go get yourself a master's degree, an MBA. At least then you can go work for some company, you can get yourself promoted, and you can make $1 or $2. Okay? And the only exception to this rule is if you go into nursing. You like blood? You like to fondle people's tushies? Okay? You want to see gross on top of yuck? Go be a nurse. They pay them people if you become an RN a lot of money, but a fairly decent level. You know, work your ass off. Otherwise, for the love of Christ, stay away from the people careers. Don't make the same mistake I did. I beg you.
Noted. And actually, something that's really funny, one of my classes, it was signed up as the American South and Popular Culture, and I said, oh boy, the Beverly Hillbillies. I get into the class, and it is the portrayal of African American women in culture, and I said, oh no.
Boy.
There's nothing that I would rather. There's nothing more that I would rather talk about. I hope you can tell from the dread in my voice.
Well,
pretty much.
Question number one. I was just going to ask: is there a lot of chicks in the class?
A lot of black chicks. I'm not into black chick, which is again, any black chicks listening. It's not you, it's me.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. Yeah. Well, because it's one of those. I'm like, I've tried. They're wonderful. They send most of their people that they send over, and some of them, I assume, are good.
All right. Yeah.
That was good. Anyway, so it is 3 black guys. It is 3 black guys, like 8 black chicks, and me. And it's one of those, like, I feel like it's an interesting class, but we spent 20 minutes talking about Amber Rose and her Slut Walk TV show on VH1, and I went, I don't know what that is. But the thing that was real fun was, like, we started talking about, like, the white man, and I'm like,
oh, boy.
The white man.
Criminy.
Like, I understand, like, it's a topic of conversation, but as the white man, I'm like, there's one point. She said, most entertainment, most movies are made for males from the ages of 18 to 35. And I just said, I'm sorry. And she's like, no, you're fine. I'm like, this is going to be a real fun class.
Yeah, dude. Prepare. It's like they should have just retitled it, awkward class for white guys. Because that's pretty much all it's going to fucking be. You're just going to be sitting there feeling awkward all fucking day.
First of all, if anyone thinks a white man does whatever in front of me, I'm just going to whip out the fucking new Ghostbusters movie and make them watch
it. Why would you do that?
Because
don't get him started, Coop.
That was brought to you by the white man himself, and it features 4 women, one of which is black. I don't hear nothing about white people. Nothing. All right.
Speaking of white people.
Sabaton, The Last Stand. So The Last Stand is a concept album, takes inspiration from famous defensive last stand battles. There's a bunch here. First single, The Lost Battalion, was released on June 10th, followed by The Blood of Brock Lesnar on July 15th, and Shiroyama on August 12th. Let's get into this, but before we do, give us 50 words here. Why do you love Sabaton, Cooper? Why go through the trouble of an entire retrospective during the Jonas Exodus way back when, such to the point that I would remember that and make sure that we covered a Sabaton album when it got released? What's all the hubbub, bub?
Well, gosh, I wish we had a free Robert Winfrey. That dude was awesome on that podcast. Big ups to Robert Winfrey for that time he subbed in. That was when I talked to people who did a podcast on this place. Instead of doing what I do now, which is even when you guys talk, I'll pop in like towards the end of the week and go, oh yeah. I am horrible at getting back to people. I actually took 3 days to get back to my dad, who was like, do you want to come with us to Carowinds? While I was on vacation, because I'm a douche. Anywho, Sabaton. Sabaton, the thing about them is they are, I'm going to say, unique in a way, not in terms of sound. Really, they're very accessible. They almost have a, I'm not going to say pop-minded sound, but their stuff is really hooky. It's really interesting. It draws you in and it gets in your head and just stays there. Live, this is one of the few bands I've seen live. Holy shit, their energy is infectious. They get the crowd going with them, and they really know how to really draw a crowd and get them interested. In terms of lyrical content, it's like history class.
That's right.
Yeah, like it's one of the few bands where I have learned things.
Didn't you say at one point like one of your professors is one of the ones that introduced you to Sabaton, or was that somebody different?
No, I introduced him to Sabaton.
There we go. Okay, I knew you'd mentioned it a while back.
Yeah, I gave him the Civil War CD band. I gave him that CD, and it had a bunch of Sabaton at the end. Because he was huge in the metal, and he was Run to the Hills when we talked about the Native Americans, of course. So, yeah, Well, because somebody told me about it, and I'd been asking him the entire semester, hey, Mr. Everhart, when are we going to listen to it? When are we going to listen to it? He's like, well, Bob, you'll just have to see. He calls me Bob. Only person in my life that has ever called me Bob. And it's not that I don't encourage it, I don't discourage it. It's just he's the only guy. Yeah, but, yeah, they're a very accessible, I think actually very popular band, too. I'm really disappointed that I missed them when they came with Amon Amarth a few years ago, but Amon Amarth seems to kind of like to come around here, so does Sabaton. And the crowd for Sabaton was amazing. Like, Nightwish, they were really excited for Nightwish. But Sabaton, like, oh boy, like, you could just feel the energy and the testosterone. And the cool thing is since this is North Carolina, very pro-military, they seem to fit right in. And like I said, their last album, Heroes, I learned all sorts of cool things, like, I wasn't really aware of Audie Murphy. In fact, my stepdad once told me he used to mix him and Eddie Murphy up all the time.
Common mistake.
Yeah, well, the thing that's really funny is that he's not my biological father, but you wouldn't be able to know sometimes. I have some of his weird habits. But yeah, like Audie Murphy, there's a song about the Night Witches, which was a Russian squadron of female pilots, if I'm not mistaken, that were just fucking terrifying. Yeah, just absolutely wonderful. They're one of the bands that I like to blast through when I'm going through the parking lot at school because they have a real infectious beat to them. They're not really obnoxious in terms of overstaying their welcome, overpowering the listener. It's almost very welcoming. It's got, like I said, I don't like to say a pop sensibility because that's a dirty word in my mind. Because I'm a horrible person. But the way I like to look at it is that they're catchy. They have that sort of aspect to them to where they know what they do well. They know what will hook in a listener, and they know how to do it. Yes, so they are absolutely awesome. And I love that they're starting to get more themed albums. Not exactly actually, Careless Rex was a concept album, but this, like, Heroes had a certain amount of a theme to it, talking about famous stories throughout war, and now we have here, famous last stands. Each one of their albums is starting to turn into almost starting to turn into a clickbait article. 10 famous last stands. That will blow your mind.
Alrighty, let's get into it. This is our first Last Stand song here. This is Sparta. Hollywood hasn't gotten a hold of Sabaton to score movies. I mean, that's just epic battle music right there. And, for anything that involves fighting, war, whatever, that would work perfectly. It's amazing. It's battle metal. It's the kind of thing where you put it on in the morning, you're ready to charge to work. Yeah, to the fax machine, and it just gets you right to the bony bone.
Well, let me step in here and then I'll turn it to Coop here. Hey, it's Sabaton, and it's not just for tanks anymore. Now we are going back and we're talking about Spartans and the 300. What a great tune. And you took the words out of my mouth. This is something that I honestly, when I was preparing for work in the morning, I would turn this album on after it released because it does, this gets you going. This gets the blood pumping. And you mentioned the whole soundtrack to a movie. I was listening to the commentary of this album, and it isn't this track, but there is, it's later on in the album. The guys from Sabaton would love to see movies made that these songs would fit to, because each one of these songs as we go throughout the album are a factual representation of something that occurred in our history. Just like Coop said, it's history lessons for putting to metal music, and they do a damn good job of it. All right, Coop, go ahead, man.
Honestly, this is one of my favorite tracks off of the album. There's a few missteps I really feel like throughout some of the middle parts, but this. Very much like Night Witches off the last album. This starts everything out with a bang. You could beat your chest to this song and headbang, and then remember how good of a movie 300 was when you were 15. Because at 24 it doesn't hold up as well.
You go to YouTube right now and you search for Sparta, because that's not a release single. But if you go to YouTube right now and you search Sabaton Sparta, guess what? Some guy took the song, put it to and the video that's showing is straight from 300. So it almost goes hand in hand.
Yes. I'm not really surprised. I know the Sabaton bands do a very good job of taking the music that it's themed after and attaching it to what it's about. This is about the 300 Spartans. Mm-hmm. There you go. I think they should have taken clips from the 300 Spartans.
That would have been interesting.
Not quite the same chest beating.
Definitely also without necessarily the violins, it reminds me a lot of Tyresis. That's why I keep referring to it as battle metal. Very similar in musical stylings. Let's go to their first.
Yeah, no. That one.
This was not a single. I take that back. Let's go to the second track here. This is Last Dying Breath, track 2. I tell you, this band definitely keeps up the tempo. These are not incredibly complex as near as I can tell. Maybe a better musician than I would pick up on something that I'm just not hearing. But overall, these are just, you know, groovy heavy metal songs. What really makes them stand out is definitely the lyrical content.
Yeah, honestly, this song here is Sabaton 101. Like, it's got that kind. I mean, really, this is the quintessential Sabaton song, and I don't like. And I'm not saying that. Oh, not quintessential. This is the, I guess, just another Sabaton song. It wasn't bad. It didn't really blow me away. It's a song I'd listen to again because that's the thing about Sabaton. Sabaton very much is like your favorite pot of Kraft mac and cheese. It gets the job done. If you really like Kraft mac and cheese, you're going to love it. If not, not a bad meal. And if anybody has seen my Facebook, you will know that I love Kraft mac and cheese. I take like literally a bucket of it to work some days. But yeah, this song here, really nothing set it apart besides maybe like, you know, the lyrical content. Hey, they're singing about something a little different. But for the most part, it had the kind of that dip right before the chorus in terms of tempo. It kind of built a little bit, and the dynamics weren't quite as loud. And then it just breaks in the dun 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 dun, dun, you know, just your typical power metal guitar.
Yeah, I agree with you, Coop. It does feel, you know, it's just like you said, it's Sabaton 101. It is a Sabaton song. Now, I'm versed with Heroes and this one, so you could probably put more stock into what Coop's saying than me for sure. However, how do you pronounce his first name, Coop? Is it Joachim or how? Any idea?
It's Joachim.
Joachim, okay. Melatonia?
Melatonia. Yeah, Joms Viking? I mean, it might be Joachim, but it's
whatever.
Anyway, Joachim Broden.
When he starts yelling to your last dying breath, I'm shouting along with him. That's what, you know, I'm already pumped up, you know, with my spears and my shields with Sparta. Now I'm screaming to my last dying breath. I enjoy this one. This is probably one of my favorites off the album. It's not the favorite, but it is one of my favorites.
Okay. A couple of things of note. That first song, Sparta, was the theme was the Battle of Thermopylae. This one, Last Dying Breath, the theme is Dragutin Gavrilich. Dragutin Gavrilich. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right at all. Doesn't matter. If you go to the Wikipedia page, it'll actually tell you what the themes were for each one of these songs. And as I happened to be looking at it, I didn't notice this the first time. It tells you what some of the bonus songs are, what they are covers of. Well, someone added a 15th one, which we're not going to listen to tonight because God hates me and I can't find it. But it's a cover of Twisted Sister's "Burn in Hell," which is the bonus track on the Japan release only. And God damn it hasn't been uploaded to YouTube yet. One of you Japanese people, get on the stick, get that shit on YouTube and tell me about it because I need to hear this. God damn it. I ain't buying no Japanese release, see? So, that being said, our next one is now this was one of my favorite tracks. This was the first one that really jumped out at me as I was driving to work. I keep calling it the Battle of Brock Lesnar because I'm funny like that, but it's actually...
It's easier to say.
Battle of Bannockburn. really wish we could have played the whole song. So, the Battle of Bannockburn says here that was a significant Scottish victory in the First War of Scottish Independence and a landmark in Scottish history. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, well, this was what was missing from Braveheart.
Yeah, it fits.
All I heard when this song was, all I could see in my mind when this song was playing the first time I heard it was Mel Gibson as William Wallace just skanking and grooving in the pit, and and occasionally someone lifting up their kilt, the front ways, like they did in the movie.
Just like depressing fanfic or something. I don't know what's going on here.
No, have you ever seen Braveheart?
I've seen it.
They absolutely flash their dick in that movie. Now, they pull back the camera, so you can't really see it, but they absolutely show the English their dick and their butt.
All right.
So again, if when you picture an ancient Scottish, I don't know what you call it ancient, but a Scottish mosh pit from the 1300s. Clearly, that's what you would say.
Clearly, there's some dick flashing going on.
And they are all yelling, "Dicks out for Harambe."
Just William Wallace, Robert the Bruce. They're all in there, fucking skanking and grooving, moshing around, punching each other in the chin, flashing their dicks.
Oh wow!
For Harambe.
So that's my feelings about the song. I think this is like the best one on there. I love this. I thought this was great. What do you guys think?
Coop?
I thought the song was a bit bright.
Really?
Bright.
For a Sabaton? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like it was bright. Like the tone of it was really kind of, I don't know. Like, when I say bright, it was kind of, I guess, a higher register, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like it came off as really a little happier, poppier, a little cheesier.
It puts a smile on my face. I'll tell you
you're
that.
A maniac. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm a what?
What?
Cooper, you're a maniac. I don't know what you're talking about.
Am I a maniac on the floor and I'm dancing like I've never danced before?
Oh, goodness.
I wouldn't even say that. I think you're just a crazy person.
Oh, dude, they put the bagpipes in this piece, and I think there's a spot where the Hammond organ plays. Oh, I have to say, it is definitely a bright song. It is something that gets you going and kind of dancing and, doing a Scottish jig. I'd do it. One of the things that I would say...
Would you pull the front of your kilt up?
I don't know you that well. All right, I'll just put it that way.
For glory, for Harambe.
And Jesse's sitting here thinking, why is Radulich always going to make things weird?
I want to have underwear on. That's just the way it is. You guys want to see tighty whities? No problem. So this is the song that made me kind of start paying attention to the way that they kind of stick we're going across eras, and we're also going across the world when it comes to these final stands. And of course, you get that Scottish feel, that Scottish flair to this song. And as I realized that, I started paying attention to that more in each other song. And as I went through the album again and again, each song kind of has that bit of flair as to the subject matter and the culture that they're talking about.
Yeah, I would. I think that's one of the things that I really liked about this is that they opted to talk about a Scottish battle and it sounded Celtic.
Yes.
I don't know if those are the right words, but as much as I know about it, it's Celtic, Scottish. It sounded Gaelic. Whatever it is, it sounded appropriate for that subject matter.
Mm-hmm. And this was one of the first songs that I shared with a buddy of mine. Well, I'll just go ahead and give him a shout out here. I doubt he'll ever listen, but Jag Betty from over in Scotland. He runs a YouTube show called Strange Places in Scotland, where he goes and he walks around and he shows like weird spots and some crazy historical, I want to say monuments, because a lot of it's like buried under trees or hidden in the forest, but there's a lot of history over there in Scotland. Anyway, he's English born, and but he's lived in Scotland for quite a while. So anyway, I thought he would enjoy this. I made sure to share that with him, which I don't know how he felt about it, because being English born, this is a song specifically about the Scottish, like, defeating the English in invasion. So anyway, shout out to Jag Betty. He's the man.
You just kind of send someone who's like a police officer. You send them, fuck the police. Hey, what'd you think of that?
Here's how I thought it. I said, I know you enjoy history, because I kind of wanted to tread lightly. I was like, I know you enjoy history, so here's this. So that's how I worded it. But anyway,
here's a bit of history you might enjoy. Remember when your relatives
got their ass handed to them, and you're living there right now? Go find that fucking place. Look around. Watch where your ancestors got their asses handed to them.
Waka waka.
And he promptly unfollows me on Facebook.
All right, moving right along here. Our last stand, we're going to skip the talking track and just go right to the Lost Battalion. And this comes from us from the setting of the next Wonder Woman movie. This is the Lost Battalion of World War I. Specifically, according to Wikipedia, is a name given to the 9 companies of the U.S. 77th Division, isolated by German forces during World War I after an American attack in the Argonne Forest of October of 1918. Roughly 197 were killed in action and approximately 150 missing or taken prisoner, before 194 remaining men were rescued. You can read more about that on Wikipedia if you want. In the meantime, here's the actual song. This is the Lost Battalion.
From their land as they made their stand, they stood strong and the legend still is on. The great war rages on. Our battalion is lost in the Argonne. Under fire, there's nothing they can do. There's no way they can get a message through. Suffer heavy losses as the battle carries on. Liberty, division standing strong. They made their stand, a disregarded demand. It's surrender or die, and the stakes are high. They live and they die, there's no time for goodbye. Weapon in hand as they made their stand, the disregarded demand. They would never comply, they would rather die. Just through the blockade, they were finally saved. Friendly fire, munitions running low. The supplies they were dropped upon their foe. 1918, the war's in rages on. The battalions are trapped in the Argonne. Chose not to surrender. They chose victory or defeat. Fallen brothers resting by their feet. They made their stand, a disregarded demand. It's surrender or die, and the stakes are high. They live and they die, there's no time for goodbye. Weapon in hand as they made their stand, the disregarded demand. They would never comply, they would rather die. Just through the blockade, they were finally saved.
All right, Coop. Go ahead. What do you think about that? That one too light for you? Too Spice Girls for you? Too poppy?
It was a little bright, but it was solid. I mean, I thought it was, again, a solid song. I think, honestly, for me, I kind of feel that after Sparta, it's a little bit of an uphill battle, because Sparta's a really good song, and then you've got kind of Sabaton 101, and then a different, but kind of almost cartoonishly bright song, then a little interlude, and then we get a song that's like a mix between Bright Song and Sabaton 101. It's good.
It's good. You start to sound a little like me, bud. You know, with some of the albums that we've talked about this year. I feel like you're going to start complaining this is a little too much of the samesies, or you're not impressed. This is not the Sabaton that you've grown to know and love. That you think I feel like you're going to start telling me that they kind of missed the mark on this one. That there's some issues here. I don't know. I feel like you're not appreciating this album the way that it was meant to be appreciated. It's not a bad thing. It's just that's where I feel like we're going here.
Well, I honestly look at Sabaton a lot like I do kind of like your 60s and 70s bands, to where like not every song on there is going to knock it out of the park. Some songs are on there just to be good songs, to help kind of get the album out, and you've got your standouts. I mean, not every song is going to be a winner, but I mean, this was a solid song. I'm not going to bash it too much. I think the next Rourke's Drift is a real good one, which is next.
All right, let's get Jesse. Let's get your thoughts here.
Well, I was just going to throw in those couple production things I was telling you about. How the kick drum in this particular song is a 50 millimeter gun, and then
literally.
Yes. Oh. What you're hearing there is them, well, obviously sampling a 50 millimeter gun and using it as the kick drum, and then the snare is a 9 millimeter pistol. So it's got that. We skipped the intro to this particular song, but he's talking about how, the guy's talking about how everything came together, and it was almost like a symphony of death, or something similar to that. And then as he's talking, you can kind of hear the guns going off in the background, and all of a sudden the song hits, and that shit's part of the song. And I thought this particular song, this being their first single that they released, was. I was really impressed. The story that they were telling was pretty fucking awesome, because listening to the commentary track, it just adds that much more to it about these guys who were surrounded by the Germans. Not only were they surrounded by the Germans, they were getting fired upon by the Americans because they had no fucking clue that they were there. On top of that, the only way that they got the word out that, hey, stop fucking firing on us, was by sending they had to send fucking carrier pigeons to the American side, the soldiers, and say, look, we're in here, you need to stop. So they had to survive. And I think I don't know, it was second verse or so, they like drop supplies for them, but they fucking drop them. They say they dropped the supplies on the Germans instead by accident. So I mean, these fucking guys were clearly the last stand. This song, it's apt that they picked this song to be the namesake of this particular album. So I really, this is probably close to one of my favorites, specifically with the production quality. And Coop, I've got a question about the production quality when we get after the next song, so don't let me forget.
Well, I have to say, just real quick, there's nothing to do with the music, but War is Hell. I mean, and that's not a joke. I'm not doing a bit here. War is Hell, and it looks. You might think it looks fun on TV or in the movies or whatever, but that whole idea of friendly fire and not knowing where the bullets are coming from, and being and looking for assistance and it not coming, or it coming but it not doing what it's supposed to do or whatever. It's just it's an incredible thing that our soldiers do, so that we can do a podcast. You know, and I'm trying not to make a joke here, but it's just amazing. And I hear that sort of thing, and I'm like, I really do respect these people. I mean, I give them all the credit in the world, and I've always said that anybody that ever like protested against the soldiers specifically was just an inhuman monster who didn't understand what they were doing. You know, if you don't like the war, that's fine. Protest the government. Don't protest the soldiers.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear what they go through. You know, like they've been through enough. You know,
Amen.
Respect your soldiers. That's all I'm saying. All right, you ready? Was there anything else, or are we ready to do the next one?
I'm ready.
All right. Our next song here is the Battle of Rorke's Drift. Also known as the Defense of Rorke's Drift, was the battle in the Anglo-Zulu War. Oh, I love to play the Zulus when I play Civilization. The defense of the mission station of Rorke's Drift under the command of Lieutenant John Chard of the Royal Engineers and Lieutenant Gonville Bromhead, immediately followed by the British Army's defeat in the Battle of Isandlwana on January 22nd, 1879. It continued the following day. So we've got the belligerents. We've got the British Empire versus the Zulu, or the folks that Robert Winfrey goes to school with. Hey now! Yeah, waka waka.
It's Coop, by the way, not Winfrey. I'd like to see I'd be curious if that is the case in Robert Winfrey's life, though.
Did I say Winfrey? I meant Cooper. Sorry.
Too many Bobs.
All right.
Too many Bobs. Many Bobs. Too many Bobs.
This is for you, Bob, and the Zulus you go to school with. Rorke's Drift. Poor British. They had such a rough history, you know, especially with those winners, the Zulu.
Now, I don't have any idea about the story behind this particular song. Although I can tell you that
I'm gonna go with well, I think the British, you know, did pretty well overall. I'm guessing in that particular battle, the Zulus pretty much handed them.
Yeah, this particular song again on YouTube is paired with some movie. I have no idea what it is, but it looks like it's depicting this specific battle. I would like to know what movie it was, but it definitely looked from the 70s.
I know.
What was it?
Zulu.
Oh, it is? Seriously?
Yeah, my dad used to be like obsessed with that movie.
I know it's a thing. I've just never watched it. All right then.
All right.
Now, if I'm wrong, of course, you can, of course, tweet me at Siznarchy.
No, damn it. Well, let me ask you here, Coop. Unless you got something to say about the song, Mark, I want to ask this question about production.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You said you got to see Sabaton live.
Yes.
Now, each of these songs, as we go through this album, is a production masterpiece, in my opinion, because there is just stuff going on. We got choirs, we've got machine guns, we've got all sorts of stuff going in these songs. What's it like to see these guys live? Is it toned down any, or does it, I know you've already said the energy is great, but when you compare like a song that you're very familiar with compared to them playing it via, obviously on stage, do you see any difference?
Yeah, I think they're a little. There's something to be said about the energy that really can come out of that comes from a live crowd. Like that crowd really helped make them. Like Joachim, by the second song was like getting goosebumps. He was acknowledging it too. Yeah, it was just awesome. They do a very good job of really conveying it, very much like, for example, with the Black album. I'm sure you remember like one of the famous quotes was Bob Rock telling the band, "Hey, you guys sound so good live. Why can't we have that live sound on, through the quality of your music on CD?"
Mm-hmm.
I think part of the Sabaton experience is the crowd, but really, yeah, they do a very good job of encapsulating Sabaton live in their in the CD, on the music. It is they are very well produced.
Well, as you guys know, I purchased my first tickets to a metal concert in such a very long. Actually, this may be my first ever metal concert that I'm going to, guys. I've been to Clutch, and you really can't count that as a metal concert. And
what about
Fozzy, okay, we can maybe count them. I mean, that was
Nope.
Okay. That was it seemed more tame than or it seemed more like a Clutch show to me when I was there. At least I didn't notice any difference.
Let me explain something to you. Counting Fozzy as going to a metal show is like getting a lap dance and saying you went on a date with a pretty girl.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you're paying for both.
You are paying for
true.
both in more ways than one. Fucking Fozzy. Hysterical. Terrible.
I like Fozzy.
Okay, and I went to Primus, which I don't think I can't count them as metal in my opinion.
They're more metal than Fozzy.
Okay, all right. So this may be my first ever really Scar Symmetry's heavy, and some of the guys that they're touring with are pretty heavy too. So I'm
proud of you, Jesse. I'm proud of you going, by the way.
I appreciate that. I got the tickets. I'm ready to rock and roll. The wife is still trying to put feelers out for somebody to babysit me, but I should be okay.
That's me. Why can't you go to a concert by yourself?
Oh, no, she was, you know where I'm going to, right? I'm going to Alrosa, which is where Dime got shot. Which is
okay, now I see her concern.
So we're approaching that point where she's like, okay, anyway. So going to Scar Symmetry's listening to their music like I have via Spotify or whatever. I've never heard these guys live, so I'm curious as to what the difference will be between their CD, which is there's a lot of production that goes into it. Nothing like this, though. Nothing like what Sabaton has. So I've got that fear that I'm going to be let down. But the thing is just like Coop's saying, the crowd most likely will make it because these guys hardly ever get over to the States. And I imagine everybody that's going to be there is going to be pumped. So anyway, I'm excited, and I'm glad to get that bit of knowledge from you, Coop. So appreciate that.
Welcome.
All right. Our next track, The Last Stand, is the stand of the Swiss Guard. The Swiss Guard. as Eddie Izzard would say. So here we go. This is The Last Stand. God damn it.
Okay.
That's a little on the samey side. I don't have a whole lot to say about that one. It's just kind of meh. I mean, at this point, you kind of get a feel for what Sabaton is and what the kind of music that it is, and this is just more of the same.
Well, let me go ahead and just step in here and correct myself, as I called the Lost Battalion the namesake of this album. That is not the case. Obviously, earlier I was mistaken. The Last Stand is the namesake of this album. So, as for this particular song, this isn't one of my favorites off of the album, but it does have that, again, that inflection that I was talking about, where the subject matter that they're discussing influences the sound of the song. This has a huge, almost like a church type of a feel to it. You know, you got the choirs in the background, and it almost sounds like it's some type of a hymn. So, it's not, just like you're saying, it's kind of getting a little bit samey here, although they're still putting their flair and singing singing about that specific instant that's going on that in history. So, and it's the theme. The theme, it's kind of hard for them to say, hey, we're going to do a theme of this, just this one thing. And then it almost, I don't want to say it gets tiresome, but it's like, hey, here they are singing about some guys that are about to die again. And that's about
here's the
where
thing.
you move.
You can do an album like this and it's fine, but I think you have to do more like the Battle of Bannockburn, Shamalama Ding Dong. And do something that that goes with, like I don't know, if you're going to do a song about the last stand of the Swiss Guard, give me something that reminds me, like, oh, okay, I get where they're coming from here. Give me some element that would tell me that this has something to do with the Swiss Guard. And I don't know how easy or difficult that would be, but they pulled it off with that one song, and that's why it stood out to me. Now this next one, the Battle for Hill 3234, this is part of the Soviet-Afghan War. It was a successive defensive battle fought by the 345th Independent Guards Airborne Regiment, Soviet airborne troops in Afghanistan. Russians in Afghanistan. Sorry. Against a force of 200 to 250 mujahideen. Two of the soldiers killed were posthumously awarded the Gold Star of the Hero of the Soviet Union, and all of the paratroopers were given the Order of the Red Banner and Order of the Red Star. The battle was dramatized in the 2005 movie The Ninth Company. I'm sure you can find that on YouTube.
YouTube paired with this song.
Yeah. So again, our belligerents here are the Soviet Union and the Afghan Mujahideen and the Special Services Group of Pakistan. All right, so here we go. So here I want to hear some, like Arabic in the background. I want to hear, something that sort of reminds me of that sort of music. Let's see what they give us. I get a little bit of that Middle Eastern sound, but not enough. Not enough to make it stand out to me.
Hold on here. Hold on. This was a successful defensive battle fought by the 345th Independent Guards Airborne Regiment, Soviet airborne troops. So they're actually the song is about the Soviet troops. Now, I get a big-time Russian feel from this song. And until you read it, and then, of course, I went in here and reviewed it on, Wikipedia. I didn't know. I kind of knew from the commentary track what they were talking about, but I got that Russian feel immediately before I knew the background of the song. I kind of that was me personally.
I didn't get that. Or if it was there, I didn't get enough of it. I mean, you want to give me Russian, give me Rasputin, covered by, gosh, the fuck's the name of the band that does that? Tursis. That sounds Russian.
Okay. I'm gonna have to do some research on this Tursis because I've never heard of these guys.
I put a bunch of their stuff on our shared playlist.
It's on there? Okay, I'll find it.
Yeah. But their cover of, and even the original Rasputin song. That sounds Russian. That sounds like they took some Russian influences and had some fun with it. This, again, it just, they did a little speed metal here, a little progressive speed metal, and not much more to it than that.
Can I just say it strikes me as amusing that Sabaton's a Swiss band, right? Known for being neutral, singing about war.
Well,
strikes me as funny.
That's the government. That's they are. Maybe that's why. I mean, they're doing a lot of different last stands here.
Yes, sir.
They don't seem to be taking a stand as one way or the other. Just sort of showing you here are moments in history that are very much alike.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but you're awfully quiet. What are you thinking?
Oh, they're Swedish.
Swedish. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, this is one of my more liked songs because it is fucking balls. It's balls to the wall, fast, furious. It's got a lot of spirit to it.
You don't think it falls in the samey category?
What was that?
You don't think it sounds a little too samey?
I mean, this album has a lot of samey qualities to it, but this is one of the songs, like not many of the other songs have had this level of, I guess, intensity to it.
Aggressiveness.
I mean, it's aggressive. The drums are really full, heavy, fast. I like it. This is definitely one of the better songs of the album, if you ask me. Granted, it didn't really give much of a regional flair, but you don't necessarily have to have one.
I guess my argument is I would prefer that. I think if you're going to do themes, go all the way with it, because you run the risk of, if I wasn't looking at the Wikipedia page, and you were just playing the stuff for me, and like, oh, what'd you think of that? I'm like, whatever. Sounds like a power metal song. Like, I wouldn't really have a grasp or an understanding of what's really going on with the song. And I think that takes away from the overall appreciation of it. This next one is the Battle of Shiroyama. Battle of Shiroyama was between the Imperial Japanese Army and the Samurai of Satsuma. So here we go. Shiroyama. That song is badass, and I'm going to forgive it for not really giving me any kind of regional flair. Just the lyrics, just kick ass. It definitely evokes just how badass the samurai were. And if you have an appreciation for that part of the world, for that part of the culture, you can, I can definitely see where people would dig that song. So I'm going to give it a pass, and I'm going to say it's probably my second favorite song on the album.
Personally, I'd have probably went with this as the lead single. I really love it. Yeah, sure, I'm kind of a Japanophile, so I really love me some Japan, and hell, they probably could have made the song about like different types of sushi rolls, and I would have been like, okay, it's fine.
You fucking rock, Sabaton. I fucking love you.
Yeah, I love spring rolls. Yes. But this is, again, just like the last song, this song had a lot of, it had that catchy quality. It had a lot of heart, a lot of spirit to it. It was really catchy, really entertaining. You really kind of felt the struggle of the old samurai as they were actually outgunned and outnumbered as they were talking about the samurai swords. I was reading up on it earlier, and actually they had to melt metal statues down for bullets. That's how bad. Yeah, they were surrounded because the other general, who had like 30,000 people, was like, I don't want them pulling anything. So he built a fortification around them.
Wow.
And yeah, it was pretty interesting. This is probably my second favorite song on the album as well, right after Sparta. This is one I will definitely listen to again and again. This was the song actually that got me really excited for this album because the Lost Battalion, I'm like, okay, oh, Sabaton. And this song came out, I'm like, yeah, Samurai, Bushido, Wasabi.
What do you think about Matt Damon playing a Chinese Chinaman in the Great Wall movie or whatever the hell it's called next year?
I don't know if he's going to be quite the Charlie Chan, but I believe in him. Yeah, you know what's even
Matt Damon in the movie?
Yeah, what's even better is that my stepdad was convinced Charlie Chan was Asian. I'm like, no, not at all. I'm like, Jesus, that guy is like yellow-faced mammy. I mean, yeah, he was pulling some, oh God, Al Jolson. He's got flashbacks to that guy. But yeah, I did not know that.
Al Jolson's a very talented man.
And he's also really creepy in blackface.
Well, man, it's not his fault.
Yeah, terrified the bejesus out of me. But yeah, this song was awesome. I did not know Matt Damon was going to play a Chinaman, quite frankly. That really saddens me, considering they could have plenty of fucking good Asian actors. Dumbasses.
The continued whitewashing of characters in the movies.
Well, I mean, yeah, Ghost in the Shell, which is based off an anime and a manga and anime property, is going to star Scarlett Johansson. So there you go. I mean, granted,
she's hot, so it's
character.
Okay.
She's what?
She's hot, so it's okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is that the character in the manga doesn't necessarily look specifically Asian, but I mean, it's fucking anime. It's going to be an Asian person. The only time it wasn't Asian was in Attack on Titan, which was a good one. And then they made the live action version, which was pretty horrible. But they added all these Japanese characters since they were like, yeah, let's do this. Yeah. But what do you think, Jesse? Do you like Shiroyama?
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a fist pumping tune. Let me just ask you, and we can go on to the next song. Robert Cooper, what movie do you think is matched up with this Sabaton song on YouTube?
The Last Samurai.
All right, we can go to the next song, Mark.
Yeah. Well, I was reading the trivia on the page, and it said that some of the Battle of Shiroyama was inspired The Last Samurai. I'm like, okay. I've never seen that movie. I own it on DVD. I've never seen it.
Yeah, that's a good movie. I think it's decent. I don't think it's that bad.
I hear really good things about it. Is it kind of maligned now, or what?
Well, I would watch it again. I just haven't. I wouldn't. I'd have to find the time.
All right. So
I like Tom Cruise.
So there's a movie, The Great Wall. Due to some of the characters, including a main character played by Matt Damon, being white in a movie set in medieval China, the film has been accused of whitewashing. Director Zhang Yimou clarified that Matt Damon is not playing a role that was originally conceived for a Chinese actor. Terrific. The budget on this thing is $135 to $160 million. This may be Universal's first bomb of the year next year. I don't see this doing well.
Yeah. Hey, maybe it'll be up there with, what was bomb of the year this year? Is it going to be Ben-Hur?
Yeah, it's Ben-Hur. By a long stretch, it's Ben-Hur.
Whew. You know, that makes me chuckle because I was like, Ben-Hur. I haven't heard that one in a while. And then I read how they marketed it. Like, one half they're like, yeah, it was based off this really wonderful movie that had all these Oscars and awards and all that. And then they tried the religious angle with some of their other bits of advertising, and then nobody went and saw it. It's great.
Yeah, they Paramount's batting 0 this year. Ninja Turtles bombed. Star Trek may make its money back, but at the moment it's not doing as well as it really should have been for a summer blockbuster and really for a Star Trek film. And then of course there's this fucking Ben-Hur.
Oh, the Ninja Turtles bombed?
Yeah, Ninja Turtles bombed.
See, I went and saw it on accident on its opening weekend because I wanted to go see Neighbors 2, but they didn't update their website when I looked, so I had to go. It was either that or go see Angry Birds because we were already there. I didn't want to go back home. So I was like, fucking Ninja Turtles 2. And you know what, Ninja Turtles 2? Not as bad as I was expecting.
I already knows that.
It was a good movie. I was never a Ninja Turtles kid. I was much far more Power Ranger kid. I think it's just because I missed the turtle boat. So I was like, I'm honestly surprised. I remember the first one was really profitable. Was it just bad timing or our release the release was a little too close to the last one?
Honestly, I just think people are tired of that kind of movie.
Like your Transformers.
Yeah,
et cetera.
I'll be curious. I mean, the last one made over $1 billion. I'll be curious what this next one does too. But the audience for Transformers might be different than the audience for Ninja Turtles. Who knows? That's our movie podcast.
You know which one I'm excited for?
When
they release Power Rangers, so I can go, it wasn't as good as the Sentai.
Yeah, I'm dying to have you on to review that with Robert Winfrey and I next year. That's on the list.
It's like, was that like the requirement? Like, all right, Robert Winfrey, we're gonna review it, but we gotta bring Coop. He's like, well, you're like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts, Robert Winfrey. This is his thing.
Brought my dad on for Warcraft. Might as well bring you on for Power Rangers. All right, this next one is about the Polish Hussars in the Battle of Vienna. God damn it, page there. This is Winged Stars.
When the winged stars arrive.
I think that one's pretty good. Jesse?
These guys, I thought these were about planes, and Wikipedia has shown me different.
Was it tanks?
No, sir. 16th century light cavalry.
16th century tanks.
These are tanks on horses, I guess. These guys look pretty fucking badass, though. I could see why they would inspire somebody to continue to fight. They got wings on their backs, Robert Cooper. Wings on their backs.
Ah, yes.
So,
just like many MMA fighters.
Waka waka, bad tattoo.
Yes, sir. That's a good song, by the way. I enjoy the song.
I like this song. It's a good song. This is another one of those Sabaton 101 songs. This is like the other sound that they have. But I enjoy it. What smells like potatoes?
I don't know. We're not in the same room as you. Jesus.
Driving down the road and you're smelling potatoes?
Yeah, well, I mean, it happens often. I think it's I was told it's a corn facility that's around here. I don't know.
Yeah, biodiesel.
The two things I smell in the air usually in this area are either corn or corn, which is potatoes. I either smell potatoes or shit. Because I work about, I'd say about 3-4 miles from a sewage treatment facility.
Wonderful.
So when the wind really picks up, I'm like, whoo, something's rotting in the state of Denmark.
Man.
Yeah, it's about as, honestly, it's about as charming as getting your balls nibbled at by piranhas while having to watch the extended cut of Batman v Superman.
There's nothing wrong with it. Shut up.
Oh, I mean, I'd be fine if it were actually two different movies instead of them trying to put two different movies in one. It's like, oh, hey, we want to do The Dark Knight Returns. All right, that's good. We're running a little short on time. We can't really put everybody else in there. Death of Superman. Oh, yeah. All right, sounds like a plan. 2.5 hours later, and one Joker-esque Lex Luthor. God, I hated that guy. We have ourselves a movie, boys.
Are you done?
Yes. Anywho, I'm done with Batman v Superman, which, hey, I love that portrayal of Batman. Awesome. Anywho, really had an Arkham feel to his combat. But this song here, it's a good song. You're kind of your quintessential Sabaton again. Just like, hey, here it is. Another solid one. Honestly, this album, even when it kind of falters, it's Sabaton, so I like it.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's not a bad song on here. There isn't, you'll notice I have not at any time turned it off and went nope. So it's not that level. It's just, it's one of those where it's either it stands out or it's background noise. Mm-hmm. And background noise doesn't necessarily have to be bad. It's just background noise. It is what it is.
I mean, hey, background noise can really help the longevity of an album. I gotta say, sometimes you just need something to drive to. That background noise, whew. Or then you could be my car, where I've been playing Throssenblatt for almost 3 months.
All right, this next one is the battle for Castle Itter. It's the last stand. Our belligerents are the U.S. 12th Armored Division, the 142nd Infantry Regiment, and we are fighting the Nazi Germans, the 17th Waffen SS Panzer Grenadier Division. The battle for Castle Itter in the Austrian North Tyrol village of Itter was fought on May 5th, 1945, in the last days of the European theater of World War II. So, this is the last battle, and it's our last song proper before we get into the cover, and not the one cover that I wanted.
Around the corner.
As last songs go, that's perfectly serviceable. It's a fun song. Again, wish it had a bit more of a distinctive flair to it, but it's fine. And I think overall, I'm gonna give my final thoughts now. Even though we've got some covers left. It's a great album. It's a fun album to listen to. If you're paying very close attention, there's distinctiveness in the lyrics, but not much else musically. If it's just on in the background and you're driving to it, it all kind of, for the most part, blends together with the exception of Battle of Bannockburn. I would give this a solid, I'm going to go ahead and give it an A-.
All right. Yeah, let me go ahead and give my 2 cents on this final song, the most epic song on this album. As far as closers go on albums, I think this is probably one of the best closers I've ever heard on an album, and I'll tell you why, okay? It's real simple. Well, I shouldn't say every, because I don't know much about their catalog, but what I know of Sabaton, it is it's war metal. It's battle metal. And what more of a famous battle between two forces other than the United States and the Germans in World War II? Now, I'd like to know, and I'd love to go back and see how many songs are about certain divisions of the Americans versus the Germans. But this is the song where those two forces, they tell a story where those two forces are brought together, where the Germans and the Americans actually find the same footing in the final moments of World War II. And they tell a great story about how there were some prisoners that are going to be executed by these Germans, and it's the Nazi Germans that are heading that way. And so the Americans decide, okay, well, this can't happen. We've got to get up there and we've got to save these prisoners from being executed. Not only does that happen, but there's also a big portion of the German army that decide to do the same thing. They say, yeah, we don't want these atrocities to happen any longer. And they join the forces with the Americans and go up there. And this song just kind of, it really exemplifies and puts together the majesty of that moment. We have been enemies throughout this whole war. And now we are putting our differences aside and we are able to look upon what humanity is and actually fight for a common good. That is what this song represents to me, and why I think it is probably, seriously, I am legit saying, it is one of the best closing songs on an album I have ever heard. As for the album as a whole, there's no sleepers in this bunch. Every single song is somewhat fast-paced. You don't have, I'm reminded of Gojira's final song when we reviewed that album, and the last song is just Mark Radulich on guitar. Okay, that's not this. You know, we don't have the acoustics. It is in your face. Every single one of them is about the fury of war and the testament to the human spirit of facing death. And there's 1.4 miles until you have to turn Robert Cooper. So with that being said, I give this, and this is probably top 5 for me this year. When we do our recap, this is probably going to be up there in the top 5, and it's going to be tough to knock something like this off. Maybe Hell Yeah has the contention to maybe knock Sabaton off its throne. I don't know. But I give this
it doesn't beat Jackal with a Y.
Yeah, I can't wait till that episode, man. When we talk the albums we've covered, it's going to be a lot of fun. Thumbs way up for Sabaton, The Last Stand. Love it. It was a great album. I'm glad that the Metal Hammer of Doom first introduced me to Sabaton way back when Robert Winfrey was a guest. So I'm excited that I had the chance to cover it with you guys. Robert Cooper, please, before you reach your destination.
I got about 8 minutes. You'll be fine.
That's enough time.
Where are you going? Yeah. Are you going to some kid's house for a booty call? Did you meet her on Tinder or I
was actually gonna go play board game. What?
Wait, is Tinder? That's the one that's not. Grindr is the one for gays. So
Grindr.
yeah. Did you meet some girl on Tinder and you're going to her house for a booty call? Please tell me that's what you're doing.
No, I'm actually going to go hang out with my friends from community college, and we're going to go play a bunch of fucking board games till 3 in the morning. Does my mom know that I'm gone? No. It's great.
He's living life on the edge.
Hey, to be fair, out of like 2 out of the 3 women that are in our group, I have tried to date. One of them's like, you're too feminine. And the other one was,
What?
Oh, yeah. She's like,
she called Cooper gay.
yeah.
Have you told us
like,
that story? Because you may have to revisit that at some point later on down the line.
Pretty much I found out that, like, one, she loved my personality, but she said I'm a little too feminine. She didn't like my beard, which is ironic considering she said I'm too feminine. And she's like, yeah, it's just not my thing. And then the other girl I chased was hanging out with her ex. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. They're just friends. Yeah. He went
Not
back
the
to
case.
that ex. Yeah, well, it sounds like he got his shit together, so that's good. Good for him, fucker. Anywho, this song, I'm not going to say it's the best closer ever. In terms of thematic theme, as Jesse Starcher has informed us, thematic theme, yes. It did a pretty good job lyrically. I liked it. The beginning of the song, though, holy 80s Batman. That had a real 80s flair to it, I got to say. Yeah, it was a pretty good song. It's, I don't know if I'd quite call it super memorable in terms of musicality, but hey, overall it was a good one. As for overall thoughts on this album, this was a Sabaton album. It's the one that wasn't one of their stronger ones, in my opinion. Sparta's a really good song. Shiroyama's nice. You've got some bright spots throughout, but for the most part, I'm not going to say for the most part, I'd say maybe about a third of this album is just kind of like, yep, that's Sabaton. So what I would give it, I'd give this about a 7 out of 10. Ooh, that possum almost died. Yeah, I give it about a solid 7 out of 10. It was pretty good. I mean, I love Sabaton, so there's not a whole lot they could do wrong in my eyes. But it didn't quite blow me away like I'd hoped to. But, I mean, overall, pretty good fare. I liked it.
I'm going to go ahead and say that that except for Jackal, this has been the year of, like, disappointing albums. I mean, we've come into it we come into these with just high hopes. And then, like, a lot of our reviews have been, you know, it's nice, but he's stupid. You know, it's every week. It's just the same thing.
He's nice.
It's stupid, but hey, we've got some real good ones, though. Like, Megadeth blew it away. Anthrax was really good. Death Angel was, like, fucking hell on wheels.
Yeah.
Frost and Blot was awesome. So, I mean, we got some bright spots.
Jackal was the best album of the year.
I actually have not listened to Jackal yet. I probably should do that.
No, you should listen to that whole show. It was great.
I was talking about the album, but I can listen to the show too.
Next week we've got Pirate Metal, Running Wild, Rapid Foray. We'll be back on Wednesday. The week after that, no show because the Devin Townsend project moved from the 2nd to the 9th of September. So now it's falling off the schedule because I'm not bumping KMFDM for the Devin Townsend project. So no show the week of the 7th, which is fine because that'll be the beginning of Alan Moore week anyway. On September 14th, KMFDM Rocks, Milestones Reloaded. That'll be a fun show. I get to talk all about my years in the clubs, listening to the old KMFDM, which does not stand for Kill Motherfucking Depeche Mode. It stands for a German phrase, which is no pity for the majority. So there. The week after that, Bruteria. The week after that, Every Time I Die. No show the following week because I'll be at Clutch. And we have two reviews going that week. We've got Deepwater Horizon and Marvel's Luke Cage, so we'll be off that week. On October 12th, we've got Epica, The Holographic Principle. On October 19th, we've got Metallica, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Yes, we finally have a name for the new Metallica album. It'll be fantastic. We've already heard Hardwired. Hardwired kicks ass. Lots of good things happening with this Metallica album so far. The following week, October 26th, Korn, The Serenity of Suffering. The week after that, November 2nd, is Testament, The Brotherhood of the Snake, Season of the Witch, Brotherhood of the Snake, whatever. Just kidding. November 9th, Opeth, Sorceress. Opeth will have already had their album out for a few weeks, but that was the first available date on the calendar. And then starting November 16th, we start in with our turkeys. Our first turkey for the month of November is Anthrax Stomp 442. And our November 23rd, our turkey right in time for Thanksgiving, Poison, Look What the Cat Dragged In. So those will be some fun ones to tear apart. Jumping right back,
that's not going to be fun.
Right back into some serious shit here. November 30th, we've got Meshuggah, The Violent Sleep of Reason. And right now, penciled in, though this may change, December 7th, Hammerfall, Built to Last. And the week after that, Superjoint, Caught Up in the Gears of Application. And then I think we are doing our last show. Yep, December 21st is the right in time for Christmas, is the Metal Hammer of Doom year-end spectacular.
It's a celebration.
Yes. So unless you guys start throwing stuff on the calendar I don't know about, that's our calendar for the end of the year. Those are all the albums we'll be reviewing.
Overkill.
I don't have a date for Overkill yet.
Okay. I'm just throwing that in there.
I can't. We may have to push some stuff that comes out, it's coming out this year into January. Maybe we won't do a retrospective. We'll do a, January will be shit we didn't get to in 2016 month because.
And make sure to schedule the show after the album releases. All right, don't be like me and schedule the show approximately 3 weeks prior to the album releasing.
Yeah,
that's why you're the hero that we deserve, Jesse.
All right.
Well,
speaking of year-end spectaculars, folks, the summer has ended. Thank God. This was the summer of acrimony. This is the summer that nearly broke me, and you can hear all about it on our summer movie wrap-up show that we did yesterday. We deep dived into the numbers. We talked about the movie prize. We talked about who won the summer. We previewed the fall and December movies. We talked about some stuff that we didn't get a chance to review that we did see, like The Killing Joke and Kubo and the Two Strings. We had a caller, as a matter of fact, from Elmont, New York, which was fun, my old stomping grounds. So go ahead and give that show a listen to. It was a fun show to do, to kind of look back strictly at the numbers and see, how well Hollywood did. It didn't do well, except for Disney. Disney's fucking bulletproof. And Universal's right there, right behind them. Other than that, that's all I got. September starts Alan Moore month. We'll be doing 4 shows, 1 a week, looking at, Jesse's going to lead us in a discussion of comic book, The Watchmen, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, V for Vendetta, and From Hell. And then I will lead a discussion of the movie, and we'll compare and contrast them. I may or may not actually read the books. We'll see what happens.
We'll just put that out there.
Just go to your library, Mark. Get them from your library.
Oh, I have them.
Right.
I just may not sit down and read them.
If anybody paid attention to the source material Twitter, which I don't blame you if you didn't, but I legitimately did a Periscope of me putting fucking From Hell in the bin at the library and closing a chapter on my life over the weekend.
Nerd.
Fuck off, Robert Cooper.
You're not my type.
Well, you're too feminine.
That's true. You're too masculine.
Girls, you're both pretty. Let's get this over with.
Okay, can I do my plugs so I can walk into my friend's house?
Please, sir.
Okay, so in terms of plugs, there's this podcast. I like it a lot. I love it. That's why I do it every week. And another podcast that I should be doing because I love the material and haven't watched it very much in the past 2 years. Sentai Rider Podcast. You can find it on Facebook at facebook.com/Sentai Rider Podcast. It is SENTAIRIDER Podcast. Your home for all things Tokusatsu. Got a new Kamen Rider series coming up soon. Maybe I'll do something on it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. So that's a thing. Yeah, that's a thing. I mean, I think part of my problem, I need to invest in some equipment. Because my buddy Hunter bought like an $80 microphone, and my laptop microphone, if it were, to quote one of my gym teachers in high school who was talking about my intelligence, it would not have enough gasoline to drive a moped around a Cheerio.
All right.
Yeah, he told me that. I didn't like him very much.
Yeah, what a jerk.
Well, to be fair, I didn't like listening to him. He was a dick, so it happens.
It does.
But yeah, that is all for my plugs. Now let me go take my Mountain Dew and play Cards Against Humanity.
Have fun, Robert Cooper.
Oh, you kids have fun too. Oh, and we should do Vinland Saga sometime.
I hear you, man. It's got to be on the agenda. All right, let me go ahead. We'll get into. Let me promote the Metal Hammer of Doom Spotify playlist for 2016. If you have Spotify, it's free, folks. You might have to put up with some ads with the free version, but if you have it or you pay for it, one or the other, go check that out. Every album that we've done on this podcast is there, except for one, which is Dunsmuir. Unfortunately, that's not on there yet. But the rest of them are. I just added Sabaton, while the plugs were going on. So it's on there. It's up to date. You can go hit shuffle and listen to all the great songs, which right now, as it stands, let me get a number here for you right now, and it is approximately 268 songs, 19 hours and 44 minutes of just absolute joy, and maybe a little bit of crying when you get to some of those bad albums. You can follow me at Stiznarkey. Okay, don't be sending me no hate mail like Coop was trying to get you to do. And at Source Mattcast, I do a show on here called Source Material. It is for comic books, talking about some of the great stories that are out there in the comic book genre. Also, this past Monday, we were planning on doing a He-Man episode. Some stuff kind of fell through. That's still on the back burner. So what we did is we just did what I call the BS episode, where we just talk to anybody who wants to call in and any topics we want to talk about. So we talked about Ronnie went to vacation at Disney World, and he got to kind of tell us about that. Not only that, but we got a call in from a good buddy of mine who is a Disney dream designer in my area up here, who got to talk to us a lot about setting up trips for Disney. That was a lot of fun. Also, he does the Kapow podcast. His name's Cliff Barnes. And Adam Runyon of the Screaming Boy podcast called in. We had a good time discussing my preparation for Alan Moore Month and how I absolutely dreaded reading From Hell, but by golly, I finished that book. So that's an accomplishment in my eyes. So we already talked about Alan Moore Month. Let me go ahead and plug the other podcasts. We have the Screaming Boy podcast, which should, I think, maybe making a return this coming Friday. So you can go out and check previous episodes here on the Radulich Broadcasting Network. Also, From the Cheap Seats, we didn't make it last week. Jason Teasley's a hard-working man, so sometimes he has to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and he can't make a podcast, or he'll fall asleep on it. So we don't want that to happen. So as for Cheap Seats this week, we're hoping for Thursday that it may go through. It depends on his schedule and what happens there. Just kind of keep an eye out for that. We talk football, folks. Football it's ready to rock and roll. The NFL is gearing up. We got preseason going on, so check it out if you're interested. Go give the Radulich Broadcasting Network Facebook page a like. Stay up on top of all the great podcasts that the Radulich Broadcasting Network has to offer. We don't bombard your Facebook with a bunch of stupid shit. We tell you what podcasts are coming up, and that's pretty much about it. And sometimes we don't even do that. But by golly, it's there. Give it a like and follow. Hey, it's there, though, just in case. Let's give it a follow, and then that's it. That's it for me. I appreciate you having me on here. I love being the third chair with thinning hair. I wouldn't have it any other way.
All right. So that's it, folks. We already went through the calendar. So we'll be back We'll be back next week. Did I already say that? Yes, we'll be back next week with the old pirate metal, the old Running Wild. It'll be fantastic. Until then, for Jesse Starcher and the Metal Cooper, Robert Cooper, I am your mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich. Be well, be safe, and behave.
We are audiostack.ai.
Combining AI writing, the best synthetic voices,
with production and delivery.
Be it ads, podcasts, or VOs for video.
Just like this ad. How would you utilize AI audio? For free.
Go to audiostack.ai/contest.
Give us just a few details.
And you could replace this spot and be heard by millions.
See webpage for T's and C's. audiostack.ai/contest.
Truck drivers. Without them, our economy would stop. They're constantly racing against time, struggling against exhaustion, and being put under enormous pressure from their bosses, the big trucking companies. This can be a major reason for an accident. Discovering who's at fault can be difficult. We can help. Call Farah and Farah at 1-800-500-5555. Put our big truck experience to work for you. Tampa.